Hiya! Adventure Kimby here. Welcome to Adventure Fantasy, where I hope to take you through a fairy tale while doing a video game based look. Today we are going to be focusing on Spyro the Dragon. That is going to be the video game character. We are going to be channeling through our lovely makeup. So a lot of purples, golds, maybe a little bit of orange. I might throw some orange in there. I don't know. And we are going to be doing a story out of fairy tales from the Brothers Grimm, and it is Corbe's Tale 41. Her Corbe's. Her is a little reference from German to English for the word Mr. or Squire, so we are going to be learning about Mr. Corbe's or Squire Corbe's. Let's get into this adventure. To start this story off, this story is actually a story that is animal based, so I will be referring to the animals in the story as their little references, what they are, but the story still has significance and the animals talk. So it starts off with a cock and a hen. You can just assume that they're together. They want to set out on traveling, so the cock, being the male, he says, all right, I'm gonna get us a cart. So he actually goes and gets a small cart, and he attaches 4 mice to the cart, as you would do with horses to a carriage. So he gets these 4 mice, and he also attaches red wheels to the cart so they can be on their way. Now, they set off into their journey, and it's not very long, literally like pretty much right up the road. They run into a cat, and the cat asks them where they are going and if he can get a ride. And the cock and the hen, well, the cock, he does the talking. He says sure. And that sets the beginning of this story. Now, within the actual travel, the cat did ask the couple where they were going, and the hen replied that they were going to actually go see her Corbe's, and I'm going to refer to him as Mr. Corbe's for the rest of the story. It's just easier for me to say and easier for you guys to understand. So, Mr. Corbe's. And the cat actually agreed to travel with them there because the cat didn't really have a place to go. Now, the cock had very specific instructions for the cat. Once he did climb onto the cart, and when he was like trying to mount it, he said, you have to sit in the back. You cannot sit in the front, for there is no room. You might tip the small carriage over that we have. So I need you to sit in the back and be very wary of my wheels. He had his red wheels on there. That was like the swag of his little carriage that he had, and he was like, these are pretty much my rims, and they're red, and don't mess them up. The cat agrees. He gets on the back, he mounts it, and the cock says, little mice, off we go. Let's roll. The cock and the hen end up picking up more people along their travel. Not people, things. And animals. Now, these are all inanimate objects or animals. They move freely of their own will. And I will go through the following of who they pick up on their way to go see Mr. Corbe's. So they pick up a grindstone, a duck, an egg, a needle, and a pin. They make it to Mr. Corbe's house, and he is not there. So they end up deciding to wait for him. Now, while they're waiting, they pick specific areas, which I'm assuming are comfortable for them, to wait. So I will go through that now as well. They pick the cock and the hen pick the perch alongside the barn to rest. The cat, it has said to go to the hearth, which is the fire area, and wait there. Now, I don't know if it is a literal, like, he sits on top of the fire or he is by the fire, but it is said that that is where he went. The duck goes to the water around the water area. I'm assuming there's a lake or something there. The egg sits in a towel, wraps itself up. The grindstone goes and rests by the door. Now, I'm assuming that the way they explain it, I'm assuming that it's like on the top frame of the door. And the pin goes into the couch. The needle goes into the bed. They stick themselves there. And they wait for Mr. Corvus. And he gets home. So we'll see how it goes from here. I got that almost all the way correct. So the only thing that I didn't get the little reference from was the duck. It actually said it sat by the water bath, which back in the day meant the kitchen sink area. So the duck is by the water bath, the cat is by the fire, the hen and the cock, we're just going over this again, are in the perch in the barn. The grindstone is above the door, sitting on the frame. The pin is in the couch or the chair, and the needle is in the pillow, specifically in the bed. And her Corvus comes home. Now, this is back in the day, obviously, so he's cold. He said, man, I've been out, I've been traveling, whatever he was doing, running errands, and he goes to light the fire. Now, when he does this, he startles the cat. And he doesn't know the cat's there. He knows nothing of all of these animals and objects that are inside of his home. When he does this, the cat throws ashes into his face. So he's blind, you know, oh my gosh, there's a cat in here, what the heck is going on? He goes to run into wash his face, and what's by the kitchen sink? None other than the duck. Now what happens? And this is pretty crazy. The duck splashes water at him, like, you know, he's like, so there's water everywhere now, not just on his face. But he's like, okay, what the heck is a duck doing in here? So he goes to dry off with a towel, and lo and behold, the egg was wrapped inside of the towel. Now, when this happens, the egg inside of the towel cracks open. So now he's ashy, literally ashy. He tried to wash it off with water. We don't know how far he got because the duck startled him and started splashing him. He goes to wipe his face off with a towel. Now he has egg everywhere. It just gets better and better. It glues his eyes shut, supposedly. Like, this is the story. His eyes are glued shut. So he decides to sit down. He can't really see. He's like trying to, I'm sure trying to like wipe his eyes off because of all this crazy nonsense. And he has no idea that all these things are here and what is inside of his chair when he goes to sit down. None other than that fancy little pin. The pin pricks him in his booty. He's like, ouch! He can't see. He knows where everything is in his house, obviously, just like any normal person would. And he's like, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to bed. I can't deal with anything that's going on today. This day has been crazy. And he goes to put his head on the pillow. And what is on the pillow? If we do not remember, it is the needle that came along. So the needle pricks him, and he's like, I am tired of this. I can't deal with this. This stuff is crazy. And so he, like, just is raging right now. He is so mad. He doesn't know what's happening. He knew nothing of the cock and the hen. He knew nothing. Now, these are animals and inanimate objects, so he has no idea why all this stuff is happening. Probably thinks somebody, like, pranked him, but, you know, it's the animals themselves. Nobody hurt you, Mr. Corvus. Nobody is out to get you. So he's like, I'm done with this. I'm done. And he goes to walk outside the door. Now I'm assuming that, because he's enraged, he's slamming things, just pissed, like raging. And when he goes to slam his front door shut, the grindstone falls on top of his head because it was above the door, resting on that frame, and Mr. Corbez dies. End of story. Now, there was a sentence added to a version of the Brothers Grimm, and there are multiple versions. The stories are adapted for different reasons, just like the reason why I thought it just said the duck went to a water bath, so I'm just assuming that is like a lake area. This is why there are adaptations of older books. They try to, update them, and so then people can understand them when they read them. Just as things change, some words in books have to change. Now, there was a sentence added at the end of one of the Brothers Grimm's, and the sentence that was added was, and I quote, "So we conclude that Herr Corbez must have been a very bad man." Now, I think that this account of everything going on, it was the hen and the cock that said they wanted to do some traveling. Who knows? All we know is all these inanimate objects and animals somehow plotted, and I'm saying this, they plotted to get rid of Mr. Corbez. And they were successful. Now we're going to go into depth about what the moral or message of this story is. And I think that they added that last sentence because they didn't want to confuse people. So we are going to get into that. Okay, so I think that the moral of this story was, firstly, to just show that through your life, through walks of life, right? Correct? Whatever you encounter and how you treat animals, your actual personal objects, and people reflect highly on you, and you don't want to burn any bridges. That's pretty much what I took away from this. And I'm not really sure in the 1800s when these stories were written if animals, and this probably is true, and or objects were referenced to have souls. Now, we can just go off of what basis that I know, which I haven't done any research on this, but that might be why this story was included. If we were to say back in the day that, hey, animals do have souls, you have to treat them with respect, and just in general treating the things you own with respect, right? If you treat the things that you have badly, poorly, then you won't be able to have them anymore. They won't work the right way. So I just think in general, and that's why they added that last sentence at the end. And it was within the third revision of this book, or the third adaptation of this book, that we can just assume that Herr Corbez was a bad man. Now, I do like the fact that it does speak upon animals as being the source of reference and inanimate objects, because, it's easy to paint a picture of, hey, this guy wronged me, and, he might have wronged a bunch of people, because there was way more than one object and animal in this story that plotted and planned for the demise of Mr. Corbez. So this just goes to show, through walks of life, you know, because we're not assuming that he encountered all of these objects and animals at different time or at the same time. We're assuming different times because they all are fellow travelers on the road and they all go to see him. So it's just treating things that you have with respect, treating animals with respect, and just in general being a better person. And treating everything that you own with respect. And I can definitely get behind that. That's good. That's good with me. That is A-okay with me. Do your thing, little baby. I do regard animals as having souls. That's my own personal opinion and belief. And I treat animals with respect. I don't hurt them. I have an animal. I have a dog. Her name is Coco. And yeah, I treat her. She's a puppy. But I treat her like she's my kid. Like she's one of my kids. She is. Because I am responsible for her. I make sure that she is alive. She is happy. She is taken care of. And yeah, I know that she has a soul because she's happy. She's a living thing. So I definitely agree with this message. I do take care of the things that I have. I actually value what I have. I don't take anything for granted. Even on this journey, there have been so many opportunities that I've been given, and I just am still so astonished and just still so much in awe. I am so happy and blessed, even for opportunities and experiences. So everything I have, I try to buy for a purpose or reason, and I definitely take care of it. And use it to its full intention, and don't abuse anything that I have, or treat it like it doesn't mean anything. It could cost $1, it could cost $100, it could cost $1,000. I'm still going to treat everything that I have with respect and be grateful for it, because I needed it for a reason, or really wanted it, and I was able to get it. So yeah. Moral of the story: treat animals with respect, treat your things with respect, and yeah, treat others with respect. Don't be a bad person. Don't burn bridges in your life. When you have encounters with animals, things, or people, try to make the right decisions, or else it's gonna come back to get you. Karma, little baby. How you guys think we did on the Spyro look? I'll get a little bit closer. I'll do a zoom in. I think we did pretty good. I am going to add blush as my last step. And this is it. I think I'm going to do orange blush though. A coral blush. Let's get it. Alright, little babies, until our next adventure, I am out of here. See ya!